In this video, we are going to see the topic under for the module 5, it is sampling distribution of 2. So, which is a continuous topic which has seen the last video for the sampling distributions about the sample, population, sample size, what is meant by sampling, and also we have seen that two major type with and without replacement of your sampling, and we have seen some basic definitions and for standard error also. Okay. So, in this video, again, we are going to continue the same topic of sampling distributions which is related with your errors. So, what is mean by error and what is a type of error, and we are going to see that two method of solving a sampling problems. Okay. So, while testing a hypothesis, we usually come across two type of errors. They are of type 1 and type 2 error. So, you can do the testing the hypothesis which you can take it with alternative hypothesis and null hypothesis, right, which is H0 and H1. So while doing it, it will occur usually it's two type of error is possible. One is type 1 error and type 2 error. So we'll see what is mean by type 1 error. If a null hypothesis is rejected while it should have been accepted, such an error of rejection of the true hypothesis is called type 1 error and is denoted by alpha, which is known as the level of significance. The probability of a correct decision in the case 1 minus alpha. Okay. So, what is that? The type 1 error is nothing but which you have assumed as a null hypothesis while it is rejecting. Okay. So, what is that? It should have the acceptancy of error of rejections. So, acceptancy of error of your rejection is under the true hypothesis, we can tell it is a type 1 error. Okay. And then we'll go with the type 2 error. If a null hypothesis is accepted while it should have been rejected, such an error of acceptancy of the false hypothesis is called type 2 error and it's denoted by beta. So you can see the table to understand that the difference of type 1 and type 2, how we can able to explain it instead of in the wordings. So you can see that the probability of correct decisions in this case is 1 minus beta, which known as the power of test. Okay. So you can go with a table which is explained with type 1 and type 2 error. The first thing, if you have two cases is there, right, either we should accept or we have to reject your null hypothesis H0. Okay. So if the hypothesis is true, what is that? Which you are accepting it, which you have assumed the decision as correct. Okay. Suppose it's a rejecting part of your H0 is there, then it will occur type 1 error. Okay. Suppose your hypothesis is false, that means type 2 error will come and the correct decisions which you have made it. Okay. So this is a two type of error because when you are assuming it your null hypothesis, the chances may there to accept as well as your reject of your hypothesis. Okay. So when you do like that, accept or reject based on the your hypothesis result, it is true or false, we can conclude that whether we can which is choose as a correct decision or wrong decisions. Okay. So based on that the error will occur. So now your next one, significance level. The probability level below which leads to the rejection of the hypothesis is known as significant level. The probability is conventionally fixed at 0.05 or 0.01, that is 5% or 1%. These are called significance level. So usually the significance level will be fixed as an 5% or 1% level. We feel confident in rejecting a hypothesis at 1% level of significance, then at 5% level of significance. The 5% level of significance can also be understood as the probability of committing errors of either the types of type 1 or type 2 error is 0.05. And then test of significance and the confidence intervals. The process which helps us to decide about the acceptancy or rejections of the hypothesis is called the test of significance. So where you are taking a decisions which you have already assumed to your hypothesis, and which is your alternate hypothesis and the null hypothesis. So after that you are making a decisions whether we have to accept or reject of the which you have assumed a hypothesis. Though that process we can call it as an the test of significance. We are testing the significance. Okay, let us suppose that we have a normal populations with mean mu and the standard deviation sigma. If x bar is a sample mean of a random sample of size n and the quantity z is defined by z equal to x bar minus mu by sigma by root n, is called standard normal variate. So which you have similar already we have seen in the standard normal variate under the topic of your normal distributions, right? So now from the table of normal areas we find that 95% of the area lying between z is equal to minus 1.96 and z is equal to plus 1.96. So from the normal curves we know it's supposed to be in the bell shape because we have seen the normal distributions. So 95% level of significance, what is that? That will nothing but of the areas lying between of z values minus 1.96 to plus 1.96. In other words, we can say that 95% confidence that z lies between of minus 1.96 and 1.96. Further, 5% level of significance is denoted by z of 0.05. So we have another what is that? Other than 5% level of significance, we have 1% levels. So that also we'll see. Similar, from the table of normal area, 99%. The areas lies between minus 2.58 and plus 2.58. That is 99% confidence that z lies between minus 2.58 and plus 2.58. Further, 1% level of significance is denoted by what is that? Z of 0.01. So remember, when you have a 5% level, that means 95% of areas if you take it, it's Z should be between of minus 1.96 to plus 1.6. When it's coming for 1%, it's supposed to be minus 2.58 to plus 2.58. Okay, so you can see here. So what is that has been given? It has been taken x bar minus 1.96 of sigma by root n is less than or equal to mu is less than or equal to x plus of 1.96 of sigma by root n, and similar for your 2.5 1% level. Okay, x bar minus 2.58 of sigma by root n is less than or equal to mu is less than or equal to x bar plus 2.58 of sigma by root n. So we can say that equation number 1 is a 95% confidence interval, and equation number 2 is a 99% confidence interval. Okay, so this is like a kind of, you have to remember this relations of your mean limits, because the confidence interval you may have a problem to ask in exams to do that either 95% or 99% confidence level. Okay, so the next one you see which is the 95% and 99% of your normal distribution table. They explained it. You know, the normal distribution is supposed to be in the bell shape, right? So what is that? As for 95%, you can take it from minus 1.96 to plus 1.96 for the mu in between. So you will be having a this is your interval has been mentioned. Similar for the area of 99%, we have minus 2.58 to 2 plus 2.58. Okay, so it has a 0.5% level of confidence. Now you can go with the next one tail and two tail test. Okay, so we are going to do the problem under for the only these two category, either it will be one tail or and two tail test. Okay, in our test of acceptancy or non-acceptancy of the hypothesis, we concentrated on the value of z on both sides of the mean. This can be categorized standard that The focus of attention lies in the two tails of the distributions, and hence such a test is called a two-tailed test. Sometimes we will be interested in the extreme values to only one side of a mean, which case the regions of significance will be a region to one side of a distributions. So obviously, right, the area of such a region will be equal to the level of significance, and itself significance itself. Such a test is called a one-tailed test. So you can see the difference of one-tailed test and two-tailed test in the table. So how it will be, the distributions values, how it is changing. 5% level, the critical value of Z, one-tailed test means the 5% level is minus 1.645 or plus 1.645. If it's 1% level is minus 2.33 or 2.33. Two-tailed test is 5% level is minus 1.96 and plus 1.96. And 1% level is minus 2.58 and plus 2.58. Okay. So the next one, test of significance for large sample. So we have seen the test of significance. Now we are going to see the large sample. So when we will tell that large sample, the samples will be 30 or equal to 30. Till that we will take it as an sample will be a small, and more than of 30 will be considered as a large sample, as we have seen in the last video. Okay. The test of significance for single proportions. The test is used to find the significant difference between proportions of the sample and the populations. Let capital X be observed number of success in a sample size of n, and the expected number of success. Let the associated standard normal variable of Z is denoted by, so standard normal variate, what is that? Z is equal to x minus mu by sigma. What is that sigma? As per the which you have already learned it, the sigma value is nothing but, as per the binomial, the root of npq, isn't it? Because of the large sample, so n minus np by root of npq. So mean is np and the standard deviation is root of npq. Mean and standard deviation is replaced it here. So if modulus of Z is greater than 2.58, we can conclude it. So this is the formula to find your Z value. So you can take it a modulus of Z value. You are going to compare it, which is greater than 2.58. We conclude that the difference is highly significant and reject the hypothesis. Since capital P is a probability of success and square root of PQ by N is the standard error proportional of success, then P plus or minus 2.58 is square root of PQ by N are the probable limits. So first thing, you can compare your Z value whether it's a less than or greater than. If go greater than of 2.58, you can reject the hypothesis, where P is a probability of success as the definitions we know, right? And the standard error proportion of success. So we will get a probable limit is nothing but P plus or minus 2.58 root of PQ by N. Okay. So the next video we are going to see a problem under for this level of significance and one tail and two tail test problems. Thank you.